Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker. Brought to you by First Bank of Shelbyville. And Kincaid Service Company. Let's talk some sports. Here are your hosts, David Thomas, Bill Anderson, and Kenny Parker.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Bedford County Sports Talk Live. I'm David Thomas, Mr. Bill Anderson to my left, Kenny Parker, and Jason Boyette is back with us for round two.
That's right.
Good to have you back, Jason.
Thank you.
We got a lot of talk in the NFL to talk about today. Of course, we got our regular talk about Bedford County sports, and we're going to run through that. But before we do, we want to thank our sponsors, First Bank of Shelbyville and
Kincaid
Service Company
here in Shelbyville on Madison Street, both great businesses, and we appreciate them. Let's pause for a minute, hear a word from them. We'll be right back to jump into some scores of local interest.
Kincaid Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All righty, welcome back into Bedford County Sports Talk Live. We're going to jump into some Bedford County sports, but before we do, Bill, do you like calling stuff off?
I do not.
Why not?
And I know another person that doesn't. Jason Boyette. Right?
Hurts my back.
Doesn't want to.
Absolutely. It's taxing on the back.
It is.
And where are you going to take it?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about. We're talking about a refrigerator. Well, you ain't got anywhere to take it.
Dishwasher.
Hey, I know where a lot of people take them. You ever been down some of these rural country roads?
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
That'll get you in trouble. But Kincaid Service Company is here to bail you out.
They'll
hook you up. When you buy that new refrigerator, new stove, whatever it is, they're going to take the old one out for you.
buy a television, entertainment system. They come in, hook it up, set it up for you, everything. It's turnkey.
I'm quite sure that when they started their business and they came up with their name, they were going to emphasize that type of service. That's the reason they put service in the middle
Absolutely.
of their name.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's what they do. They serve.
that's it. Well, we want to thank them and again First Bank for being our sponsor. Let's dive into some Bedford County sports. I know you got some basketball scores there. Pretty good night last night for Bedford County teams.
Well, Tuesday night, Lincoln County, Shelbyville. Lincoln County girls beat Shelbyville 76-45. The boys beat Lincoln County 65-48. Last night they played Spring Hill. Shelbyville girls 55, Spring Hill 32. Shelbyville boys 75-38. Coach Young's 3-1 in the district.
Yep.
Been a while.
Right.
Hey, before you go further, Scott Spray, the number one Golden Eagle fan, is watching this morning. Hello, Scott.
Hey,
Good
Scott.
to have you in with us. All right, sorry about that. But
No,
we got to recognize Scott.
absolutely.
He's always
He's
here.
always
Saw him
there.
right behind the bench last night.
Yeah,
He's at the
hey,
game
he's
last night.
everywhere.
He's there.
You look up. How do you get around so much, Scott? Give us a comment on that. I mean, you're everywhere. All right.
All right, you had the battle of Cascade and Community. We're not going to use that word,
Yeah.
but the battle happened.
And they were
Tuesday
throwing
night.
T-shirts out that said that.
The Battle of Bedford.
I don't know what the T-shirt said, but I know both sides were wearing something, and it said something about battle or something.
I
I
said
bet
that.
Coach
I'm
Davis
going to
loved
say
that.
that. Yeah, I just had
I
to
don't
say
know.
it for him.
I don't know
Yeah.
who sponsored it, but it was they were throwing them out.
Oh,
Can
Coach, he went out and got a sponsor to get those T-shirts printed.
I don't know.
That's
But
Well, Kenny brought up Landon LaBorne. Congratulations to him. 1,000th point in that game
scored
for
his
the Community
1,000th
boys.
point. Yes. Mhm.
Cascade girls 55, Community 51, Cascade boys 72, Community 55. But, always a good one. Those two
Hey,
teams
those
get
two
together.
games were fun to watch. Very, very competitive on both sides. Streaks, and Cascade just happened to get the hot streak at the end of the game to pull away to win both
It's
of those.
pretty amazing how much better the Cascade girls are from where they were a year ago.
we've always talked about freshmen and sophomores become juniors and seniors, and that's what's happening now. The Cascade girls of old were playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Now, the Kaylee Young, I think that's how you say her name, the young girl that was playing as a freshman, she's now a junior. So they are beginning to come of age.
Well, last night they ran into a buzzsaw at
They
Cannon
ran
County.
at both of them, yeah.
Because Cannon is good.
Yeah, they're
On
good.
both
Yeah.
boys and girls.
Very good.
Yes.
And the girls, Cannon County 55, Cascade 43, Cannon County 74, Cascade 60. Then you had a big game with community on Chapel Hill Forest over there.
It wasn't too big. Community run.
And community ran through them.
Yeah.
Coach Davis said that's their rival.
He said that's the big rival.
He says that is their rival, is Chapel Hill. But anyway, 56-39, the girls win. And the boys beat Forest 71-62. So a sweep there for community. Webb, Middle Tennessee Christian earlier in the week, we talked about them. Webb girls beat them Tuesday night 61-37. The boys 81-49. And then last night they had Columbia Academy was at Webb. Columbia Academy 43, Webb girls 54, Webb boys 48, Columbia Academy 46. And the Webb boys are pretty good.
And they won. I mean, they had a clean sweep this week.
Yeah.
They had a clean sweep.
Something I want to talk about as far as high school basketball goes in the mid-state. As I go through these scores and I look for them on Coach T, I start looking at the records beside a lot of teams. And it seems like there's so many that are right around the 500, just like Bedford County is. I want to ask you guys' opinion on this. Do you think that the fact that everybody's playing, they're losing, then they're winning, they're losing, they're winning, do you think it's because everybody is equal, that there's a lot of parity, and we just have a lot of average basketball teams? Or what is that?
Average basketball team.
Average basketball.
Okay. That's exactly what it is.
It's average.
You are what your record is.
Okay. And then you'll see.
I think, here's what I think. I think more kids are specializing.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the ones multi-sport players anymore.
Well, you'll see maybe 10% are up in that 75% win rate or higher, okay, and they have good records.
And they're the ones that's always been there.
Well, yeah, but also you go and you watch some of these games on NFHS Network, you look at the matchup, the games are close, but there's that one team that always is winning, and then there's that other team that looks just as equal, and they're winning and they're losing. They're winning, they're losing. They're close. Like, a turnover here, a shot here, and they're losing. Okay, do you think that there is a factor involved where these kids have to learn how to win games? And I know there always isn't
always got to learn how to win games.
Do you think that is some of the issues that we have in the mediocrity? Do you think that they're just not learning that?
Well, what I had to go through at Cascade was, the big thing on the wall was beat Moore County.
Yeah.
Beat Moore County because they'd never beat them. Well, when you got to get close enough, because you'll get there and then something will go against you and you'll go, kids go, oh, here we go again. But then when you finally break through and you start doing it, you start getting that confidence. And what I say, everybody wants to win.
Sure.
Everybody wants to win, but your kids have got to expect to win.
Right.
Expect to go in and win those games. And when you're there, we see the same teams every year.
Yeah.
Why? Because they expect to win year round, not just the week before they get ready to play that game. Year round, and they prepare year round.
Okay, who instills that in the kids?
The coach.
Absolutely.
Not just the coach, but tradition.
Yeah.
Leaders on the team, whether it be a senior, junior, whoever the leader of the team is.
Okay. And the ones that had played before come back and share.
Yeah, former players.
I see some teams in our county that if they can get over the hump of learning to win,
sure,
you're going to have some winning. I mean, seriously. And I know Coach Davis out at Community he's had years where that's kicked into gear. And I just wonder what it is, because it seems like his talent level is pretty even every year. It seems like out at Sheffield Central, we always have athletes, girls and boys.
Right.
And there's just that 500 mark, a little bit better. You're flirting with it. And then there's just some down years. There's no doubt about it. But how do you get over that hump and change the whole culture of the programs? How do you do that? Because we've always had tradition. We were just talking before we came on camera about Coach Thomas when he was here in the mid to late, well, from 2005 to 2010 range. The boys were just like, you could just we're going to win. Girls, same thing. You know?
You talk about this. You see it in college. Kids got to want to be coached. Kids got to want to be coached, and if they don't want to be coached, if they don't want the discipline, what are they going to do? They're going to leave, or they're going to quit, and they're not going to.
What's odd about Shelbyville's region in particular, if you look at it, looking up on Coach T, you talk about looking at records.
It's changed.
Other than Warren County, everybody's sub 500.
Yeah.
Other than Warren County.
Hey, years ago, in high school in boys basketball, when I was at Shelbyville, who was always the number one team? One of the top teams,
Columbia,
Yeah.
always has been.
They're doing good to
They
win.
won
I know.
17.
I know.
When they play Spring Hill, somebody got to win that game.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to watch it.
Let me ask y'all this, and y'all been around education for years, okay? How much of an impact do parents have in that culture?
Some, but I don't think it's all parent. I
No.
don't think it's all parent.
No, I don't think it's all, but
It's
how
not- it's
much? How
not.
much do you think the encouragement at home that
It
they
definitely
get
helps
to
when
support?
they support the coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
And
what I'm kind
that's
of
the
getting
key
to.
for the parents.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Right.
difficult for a coach to have any.
If the coach is telling the kid one thing and then mom and daddy saying something else,
They're
that makes
torn.
it tough.
And I'm gonna tell you,
got to be together.
there's so much for these kids to do nowadays, other than play ball. There's so many other things that's
You're right.
going on out there that grab their attention.
Yeah.
Right there, that grab their attention
Yeah.
and keep them from playing ball and doing. Back when I was in school, Bill, you and I, David, we all same age. Seniors rode school bus.
Oh yeah.
They didn't all
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got a driver's license, and you can't
Yeah.
find a place to park in the parking lot.
Yeah. That's true. So the culture has changed.
Yes.
Our whole way of life has changed, and that's a lot to do with it. But I think you hit the nail on the head. If you've got a parent that's not backing the coach,
Right.
you're in you got a problem.
Sure.
And on a football team, it's a little bit different because you got so many more. But on a basketball team, you're zeroed in on a small group
Right.
of people,
And
it
you
makes
can
a
look at
difference.
that vice versa too.
Yeah.
On a basketball
Yeah.
team, you don't have to have but 3 or 4. And
I
if
know
you got
you
them
got
3 or 4
problems.
dialed in, you're
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. Is there anything else, Kenny? Have you heard anything on wrestling? Or we
wrestling.
talked
All I
about that?
know is this week is region stuff. Cascade made it. They won they're playing wrestling somewhere in the region, and I think both Shelbyville community have individuals, both boys and girls, didn't get any names, that will be wrestling in region this week also.
Okay. All right. Any other updates you got for us, Bill?
No, I'll say one thing about Shelbyville. I've got them at 9-11 on the year. Had they not gone to Blackman, lost the 2 games in the tournament, and gone to Hoover, Alabama, and lost 4,
Right.
they'd really have a nice record right here. But
Shane,
they went
Shane
and
should
played the
finish
best of the
second. He
best.
should finish
Hey,
second.
he's
Yeah.
got a very
He
good
could.
chance.
Yeah.
He's got a
Yeah.
very good chance. Of course, we know Warren County's the top dog
Yeah.
here, but after Warren County, I think Shelbyville's the next
I do
dog.
too.
Did you notice the record of Spring Hill?
Not very
I
good.
did.
No.
It's not very good, but you see the number of games they've played. Obviously, they have not played in any tournament
Right.
anywhere.
No, way less
Well,
than anybody else.
Yeah.
It's like almost 8 or 9 games less than everybody
Right.
else. That's indication
And the
they didn't play in
question-
the early tournaments. They didn't play in Thanksgiving or Christmas.
And you don't know what the emphasis is going
Yeah.
on with the sport. You know,
Yeah.
there could be turmoil in the building.
Well, the question is, too, is Spring Hill and Columbia both, is Battle Creek taking those kids?
Yeah,
Is what
that's-
one has to wonder.
Right.
The
I
new
think-
school over
yeah.
there. And I think
Yeah.
that's got something to do with both these
In the
programs.
next couple of years,
And
we'll
not
see that
just
play out.
not just the kids. Could be getting the coaches also.
Spring Hill probably only brought 25, 30 people last night.
I tell you what, when I walked in
Yeah.
the gym last night, Shelbyville's homecoming last
Yeah.
night, by the way,
Mhm.
I thought I was at a middle school game.
Mhm.
But they sort of started trickling in, wound up with a fairly decent
Yeah.
crowd. But
Spring Hill didn't bring
Spring Hill they had more people on the player bus
in. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
than they've had fans.
I'm afraid that's what we're going to see in football. this
Oh,
region,
here we
too.
got
I think we're going to see
here we got
crowds be
some
down.
commentary coming in here.
Okay.
Janie Graves, the Mumbrium High School sports have gotten just as bad as college with the transfers. Kenny's point is spot on about coaching. All right, here we go. Coach D,
Coach Davis.
Weather plays a factor now with makeup stuff. Each system has different rules. Some can't play or practice when they're out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we only get 2 weeks to practice before game one. Other sports get 4. He's spot on about that.
Exactly
so it
right.
takes a while to get out of the gate. You're practicing the first 2 weeks of the season, really.
And then with Robbie's, with basketball, Robbie, he just pointed in, Coach Davis, he may have kids playing football.
That's
and
right.
He won't get them. And, they do a lot of their practicing in the summer and that other. But he talked about the weather.
Yeah.
I know we're fixing to get into where they're making up these games. I know Cascade's got a Monday night game this week, a Tuesday night game, and a Friday night game. So that's fixing to.
Well, Coach Davis has queued us up.
He's ready.
He's asking about Vanderbilt Tennessee game, and that's if they can do the same thing to Kentucky that they did to Tennessee. And before we jump into that, let's hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back to jump into some college talk.
Incade Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
Turn around.
All righty. Welcome back in here. And again, we thank our sponsors, First Bank and Kincaid
Service
Company.
I left you out that time. Do you want to say company again?
Company.
All right. There you go.
There we go.
All right. Let's talk a little.
Hey, I tell you what I want to do. Jason, I want you to turn around and let Robbie see the back of your shirt and let him know where you feel with the Tennessee
There you
basketball
are.
game.
Robbie, I'm a fan, win, lose, or draw. I don't flip-flop around.
Okay.
But we will talk a little bit about that Tennessee Vandy game.
All right.
That was disappointing to me that it appeared to me Vanderbilt was quicker. They actually out-hustled Tennessee, and Tennessee didn't play any defense, but Chaz Lanier was terrible.
Are you talking about the boys' game or the girls' game?
The boys' game.
Oh, okay.
Lanier was terrible. He goes for a layup to tie the game and gets a shot blocked by a guy about 5 inches shorter than he was. And then at the end of the game, all he's got to do is hit 2 free throws, and he missed one of them, of course.
I will say Vandy looked like they wanted it more that game.
Yes,
They
looked
They will.
lackadaisical.
What we talked about earlier, expecting and wanting. And here's the deal. You get this transfer portal. Kids aren't – this is not their school. This is not where they want. They're going to this school for a reason. It's not there you go. It's not because not because of the T or the V.
Right.
But if it is because of the T or the V, then you're gonna play a little harder.
Yeah.
And they don't care anything about their heritage. They don't care anything about their tradition.
No.
They're there like you.
All that's good and fine, but everybody on Vanderbilt was a transfer portal. Every last one of them.
Wow.
That guy's done a really good job of
Outstanding.
And I wouldn't know him
job.
if he walked in here, but he's done a good job.
He got them because he can use, when nobody else wants you, come on in here at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Their biggest player was 6'8". It was number 24, 34.
Got
that
to
big
play
kid.
hard.
Okay.
Got to play hard.
Well, he dominated. He ain't 6'8". We got guys 6'11". He dominated them.
Yeah.
And that's the problem Tennessee's got. Paint presence is a problem. Lack of depth. Where this team was number 1 in the country, they can't score at times.
Yeah,
and if Chaz Lanier's off, we're in trouble. I mean, it's where we're depending on him almost too much because who else can score? And that's the problem I see with Tennessee today. They go to number 1 Auburn tonight.
Oh, boy. Going to be tough.
And that's going to be really tough if you can't score. And that's my problem with Tennessee right here that I see where you're one and done in the NCAA tournament.
They go down there and they play well. Then you go to scratching your head, go, where was this team at?
I haven't seen them play well on the road to speak of. I mean, that's the other question. They play great at home.
Better at home. Yeah.
Great at home.
And supposedly, like we said out there, Gainey's got a virus or something, and Belichick's hurt. So
And this morning, game day, there was already
good.
People. Auburn looked like the stands were full this morning. I mean, Auburn's
they're
going to be ready.
Oh, they'll be ready.
Auburn's
Bruce
going to be
Pearl's
ready
got them.
because because their head coach is going to be ready.
Yeah, I
He's gonna
guarantee
make
you,
sure his kids are
he's
ready.
been like wired since
Uh-huh.
yesterday, running
This,
up and down.
this game's been on his radar for a while.
Yeah, it has.
Todd Bowman line's 6.5.
Given
Tennessee's
Tennessee
getting 6.5 points. in this
well, it
game.
could be worse than that.
And if Broom, I think's his name, the big kid that's
yeah.
been out. If he plays,
He'll
it'll be
play
worse.
tonight. He's
If he
gonna
plays
play
tonight, it'll
He's
be
gonna play
worse.
tonight. Get ready.
Because he may be as good a player as there is in America.
Let's go back to Coach D's question. Any chance that Vandy can do to Kentucky what they did to Tennessee?
Yes, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Vandy can. Talking about Tennessee beating Kentucky? Oh, absolutely. Tennessee can beat.
Is it in Nashville or in?
Obviously, it's in.
I think it's in Nashville.
It's in Nashville.
If it's in Nashville, they got a chance.
The question is, can Vandy do to Kentucky what they did to Tennessee?
Well, absolutely.
So
Not in the paint, they can't.
They don't. Hey,
But
I
they
don't
can
care
win the
where
game.
they score. When it goes up on the scoreboard, it's on that place it matters.
Well, that's
and yes,
true.
they can beat Kentucky
In Nashville, yeah,
Vanderbilt.
it's in Nashville. Okay.
In Vanderbilt, yes.
All right. So he also is coming here making a prediction that it'll be a close win for either team tonight on Auburn and Tennessee.
Nope.
You don't think it's going to be
Nope.
close?
I'm afraid I see some of that Florida game coming in here. A bad
Oh,
one.
that's not good.
I
Well,
hope I'm wrong. I really do. Ziegler's going to play.
And
How does Lanier look?
It's at Auburn.
Because my problem with Chaz Lanier right now is I don't see effort out of him at times. I see him walking the ball up the court and lackadaisically doing things and not playing defense. I don't know how long Coach Barnes. But here's Coach Barnes' problem. If you sit him, you ain't got but 8 or 9 varsity guys now on the team.
Yeah.
We're one injury away from really being in trouble.
We are.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing is how few players we've got.
Yeah.
well, here's a question for you guys. Do you think that we're going to see a similar situation play out in the SEC as we did in football when it gets down time for the selection committee to pick teams? I mean, we've got a whole lot of SEC teams are in the top 20.
It's going to be a record number of SEC teams make the
Yeah,
NCAA tournament.
they're going
a record.
So they're taking what 67.
Take 64.
Yeah, 64,
Well,
and then they have 3 or 4.
68.
They have.
You're going to see 10 out of the SEC make it. 10.
You think there'll be that many?
10.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unreal. So, but
Now,
where
what do
they
they do in the tournament?
Well, and where do they get position too? Because they're going to cannibalize each other like they did in football. You know, you're going to have some borderline teams.
I don't think they will cannibalize each other. I think there's some hidden gems out there that we always see in the NCAA tournament that everybody talks.
You're talking about.
I'm talking about to get in the
now,
tournament and get your lower seed because you've beat up on each other.
They're going.
You could have somebody come in that's won 25, 26 games and lost 10 and be just as good as some of those that are 31
That's
and 3.
what I'm talking about, the hidden gems out there.
Yeah.
That, yes.
Well, I'm talking about getting in there. So when the selection committee, they start looking at those records and they finished, 4th, 5th in the SEC or 6th or 7th. We're going to put them at an 8 or a 9 or a 10. And you got, your pairing gets skewed a little bit based on the actual talent level of the team or success of the team. And that's what hurts the SEC. And I'm sure some of the other conferences have felt this over the years too. So we're about to get a dose of it, I believe.
There's 5 or 6 SEC teams that could be in the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the point.
Absolutely.
And they won't be there.
Best conference in America.
Now, everybody's going to say, yeah, right. After this all over with, they're going to look at us and laugh. Yeah, y'all
sort of
look
look
good.
at SEC
like they did in
basketball
football
right now, like you used to look at ACC basketball.
It's similar.
It's getting similar to the old Big East.
Yeah,
it's getting similar
because the bottom's so good. Because the thing is,
even the Vanderbilt,
the teams that you think are the bottom are good.
Anybody can knock anybody out.
A team like that can turn into a Cinderella story and go all the way. You just never know when it's going to happen. You look at what Jimmy V did with the North Carolina State, that team that was above average, and they just kind of won, and they just kept winning, and won that thing. That was a Cinderella story. We've seen that along the way. Over the years.
Be Bill Comanskins and get hot at the right time.
That's right.
That's true.
And since you brought that up, we're going to shift gears here and go into some pro football talk. Before we do, again, we're going to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back and dive into the NFL and all the goings-on because that's where all the talk is right now.
Incade Service Company is a locally owned family business that has proudly served the Middle Tennessee area since 1934. We have a wide selection of furniture, appliances, electronics, and mattresses for every budget and design taste. We carry the brands that you know and trust, so you're sure to find exactly what you're looking for. Need financing? We have you covered. With our service department, you can rest assured that we will take care of you after the purchase. Visit our Shelbyville store at 400 Madison Street.
All right, welcome back into Bedford County Sports Talk Live. Now we're going to dive into some NFL. Guys, did anything shock you guys over the past weekend during the playoff round?
The Lions turned the ball over 5 times.
The Lions
Shocking.
turning the ball over, but
Yeah.
seeing Washington beat them didn't shock me. I excuse me. I think the team's one that I sort of
I
anticipated.
thought Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, made a grave error. He continued to blitz Daniels, and Daniels statistically is the best quarterback in the National Football League against the blitz.
He's gonna burn you anywhere.
That
But
kid,
you blitz him.
He's an ass. I tell you, the thing to see about Daniels is what he does his second year.
Yeah.
Get
That's
these
true.
guys a chance to see him,
But to be a rookie
fine
and take the blitz the way he does, it's just
he looks like a veteran.
and he's just composed. He's just composed. Nothing gets
You know, early on, I remember Mahomes had that different it factor.
Yeah.
Jay
Yes.
Daniels got that same
Yeah,
thing.
he does.
You're right.
There's something
He does.
different about him. You know?
Speaking of Mahomes, what about the flop?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I have yet to see that.
Well, Kenny, you
I
got to
have
watch
heard.
it.
I have heard about
Hilarious.
it. But the breaking news I just got right here on my phone.
Oh my goodness!
Buffalo's going in. They've already been penalized 2 times for roughing the passer.
Yeah.
That's about right.
I'm telling you right now, if I'm a defender and I get my chance, I'm getting all 15 yards worth of it, and I might have to pay the NFL a little bit of money.
Oh, Kenny.
But I'm tell you what now, you gonna flop on me?
You wouldn't. You're not saying you're going to be a cheap shot artist, are you?
I'm gonna tell you, if it's close, I'm getting my money's worth.
All right, okay.
We had a kid that played when I was a freshman. He plays nose guard, and he jumped off sides every now and then, but he got his money's worth.
Did
when
he?
jumped off sides? And
That's you, huh?
Going to get
No,
the
that
penalty
was
anyway.
not me. I was a freshman.
we've seen this before with Tom Brady. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
Brady wasn't
It's
running,
worse.
Right.
It's worse.
But I don't know if it's worse.
It's
but you
worse.
couldn't touch Tom Brady
Oh,
either.
no.
Flag.
This is
Right,
worse.
that's right.
This is the NFL's. This is the NFL's guy's poster child.
It is.
He's the poster
You're
child.
Well,
And
so
I'll
was
tell you-
Tom Brady too. To be honest with you, go
yeah.
back to that snow game with the Raiders when we changed the rule on the
But it's
fumble.
happened. I mean, Michael Jordan, greatest
True.
player ever, but he would get the benefit a lot of times. On
Oh,
the
yeah.
call.
Oh, yeah.
And your best players do that. You know, your best players get the benefit.
And that's the thing about the Chiefs. You want to sit here and we say, well, they're going to lose. It's time for them to lose. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over. The Chiefs do the same thing over and over. And
gets
we're
the
the ones expecting a different result because they just win. They don't turn the ball
okay.
over
It's changing
and they win.
today. It's changing.
Well, let's talk
today.
about that game.
It's
All right.
changing today.
Is Josh Allen
The man
ready
today.
to take the step? I think
He's
he
the
is.
man
I think
today.
he is.
Tomorrow.
Not going against Andy Reid, guys. I've learned my lesson. Not doing it.
Jason.
Look, who I want to win, who I think will win are two different things. I want the Bills to win. I want Josh Allen to get over the hump. I'm not betting against the Chiefs at home.
No.
I've learned my lesson.
You got the
Again.
you got the Zebras. You got the
what's your-
Chiefs.
Yeah,
What's
you
your
got-
Bobo score?
Top of the line is the Bills are catching 2.
I
The
tell you
Bills are a
what,
2-point underdog.
I like
Oh,
the Bills.
I like them straight up. I think
I-
they're going to win.
I do too. I think Josh Allen is going to have some.
And
of
I
those
think Josh Allen
runs.
is this going into the game this year. He's fresher
Yeah, he's
than
healthier.
he's ever been. He's fresher than he's ever been. And they wanted to put out in the thing last about Mahomes' health and all. That bull.
Yeah,
He's going to play,
yeah.
but somebody's fixing to hit him with a chin. You watch what I'm talking
All
about.
right,
See
so
if he can get a chin this
Bill,
week.
it's us three. I think he's going leaning with the Bills. Are you?
No, I'm going
You're-
Chiefs.
okay, so it's
You're
2
going
and 2.
Chiefs,
I'm
too.
going
going.
Chiefs.
I'm going.
I hope
with
I'm
the Bills.
wrong. I want to be
I
wrong.
would like to see the Bills win the game.
Me
I'm
too.
just saying I'm
I
not
think-
going
I
against
think
Andy
we're
Reid.
fixing to see a chin. I'll tell you what, I think somebody on the Bills is tired of losing to Kansas City
Yeah,
at their place, and you just
Game's going to come down to defense, and the
I
Chiefs
think
have a
it's
better
coming.
defense
I
than the Bills.
don't disagree with the Chiefs' defense is pretty good.
And here I think you'll see Mahomes make a few more plays even. And again, there's another factor that Kenny brought up a minute ago, and it's the yellow hanky.
But I'll tell you this. It could not be as big a factor now because it's brought so much attention.
It has brought
That's true.
They're
That's
under a
true.
microscope.
They are,
Mhm.
for sure.
It's not going to matter.
They're
They're going to still do it.
Did you hear what Mahomes said about the flop?
Oh, it didn't.
He said, "Well, he come out. I don't know if this is true or not. But
I
he was
didn't see
quoted as
that.
saying, "Yeah, I shouldn't have done that one.
Yeah.
That was a little bit overboard."
Yeah, it was
So I mean, he admitted it.
Yeah.
And you go
Deserved
back and look
that.
at that replay. It's like
He deserved
it's
that.
just like
An actor
Well, the
should
first
have-
one when the Anderson boy hit him, he got the
Oh, they hit each other's helmet. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
and they went on and scored a touchdown after that because they got
Yeah.
about first down. And I mean,
Well, let's talk about the Andrews drop in the end zone.
oh god,
And the fumble.
the fumble was a play by the defender.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his first
That is.
fumble
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
his rookie year.
Yep.
And guys,
Dropping that 2-point conversion in the field.
Is
for
he
him.
going to
they're,
retire?
they're,
No, he's not.
He's gonna
he
come
ain't
back.
over it
All
yet.
right.
He's
All right.
human. That just shows he's human. Now let's talk about the other side of it. Lamar. I always had my
Yeah.
questions about Lamar.
Yep.
He's answering. I think
Yeah.
he's a real deal. But nobody feels worse for and everybody's going to go back and say, well, what about Andrews dropping the ball? Well, forget about that. What about going for two earlier
Yeah.
and not kick one?
What
You kick
about
extra
what
point.
about not bringing in the extra offensive lineman like you did against Pittsburgh and the two tight ends
Well, see,
set
there
and
you
hammering
go.
Derrick Henry?
Anything?
Yeah, no.
Well, what about not running Derrick Henry earlier?
No.
Two times, 2-point conversions. They don't run Derrick Henry
Yeah.
Either time,
either time.
That's just
And in cold weather.
when you just dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers with that
Mhm.
same front,
Yeah.
this is where I think
He's
that
There you go.
He's getting 2 yards.
I mean,
Sure.
Yeah.
if they block, if they don't hit him before
All right.
he gets going.
shift gears now.
Yeah.
Let's go to the NFC.
Uh-huh.
We got your command skins and the
command
Eagles.
skins.
We got the Eagles. Jalen Hurts supposedly is a little bit gimpy. Okay. How do you guys see this game playing out? I tell you what, if Jaden Daniels plays like he's been playing, and his other players kick in and take it up a level, I think they can beat the Eagles.
Here's the thing with this one. They've already played twice this
Yeah.
year. So Philly's defensive people have seen him twice this
Right.
year. They know a little bit more about him, and Philly is going to be physical.
Yeah, and that but
They are going to be physical.
Washington has also
Seen them twice.
Saquon
but-
Barkley run all over both games.
Mhm.
150 yards, I think, in both
But
games.
here's the thing. You can not practice to defend physical.
Yeah.
When somebody's physical, there is nothing that you can do to fix your team to prepare for somebody going to be physical.
All right, Jason. Last week you was kind of high on the command skins. What do you think?
One fun stat I saw this week: the last 30 games that a team that played on one team played on Saturday and the other team played on Sunday, the team that got the extra day rest has won 20 out of the last 30.
Wow.
So that gives
Wow.
Washington an advantage, that extra day. And they've got the most exciting player, but I can't go against the Eagles. So I'm not going against the Eagles at home. The Eagles are too good at home.
Top of the line 6.
Hey, we're going to put him on the payroll. Did
I
you
know.
see that research?
That's good. That's great.
That's pretty impressive.
Very
And
good.
the
that's
good thing about
interesting.
weather's not going to be a factor in either
No.
one of these games. We're
No.
talking about 30s and no chance of precipitation.
Right.
So 30s this time of year is
Hey, and you realize that all four teams that are still playing play all their games outdoors.
yeah.
Are you picking the Washington?
No, I'll go with the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bill.
I want Washington to win.
Oh, I do too.
This would be their number 6 seed. The command skins are,
Yeah.
and they would only be the third team to make a Super Bowl as the number 6 seed if they win the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the command skins to win the game. And I'll tell you why. I think the Eagles head coach is the worst coach in the National Football League. He's fired if he gives that game away to the Rams last week the way he did.
Well, you were sending me a text.
I was
too,
going,
and it's
what is this guy doing? And he does it all the time. I mean, run Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
I'm telling you, the kid is a stud. He to me, he's your
Well,
MVP.
And
You
if
know?
you're Washington,
The kid is a stud because he got the studs blocking.
That's
for him.
true.
He got them,
But
big
he knows what to
physical
do with those
dudes.
blocks. Did you see the
Just-
replays of him
Well,
setting those blocks
yeah, he's
up?
a pro.
Amazing. He's a good one.
pro. He knows how to do it. But look at. There's a reason they got 3 All-Pro in it.
Oh yeah,
They got-
they're good.
There is,
yeah.
but
They're
when you,
lying.
when you
They're
keep
lying.
putting
3 of those
Gainwell in
fine.
place of Barkley, that offensive line doesn't look as dominant when Gainwell's in there. They do to Barkley what the Ravens did to Henry.
Yeah.
You take him off the field. What are you doing? It's 3rd and 2. I'm going to put Gainwell in the game. You just took the best running back in football off the field. Does 2 things. One, he's not as good as the other guy, but it's the threat of Barkley that would allow you to do other things.
I'm
And
with
throw it
Coach
to
here,
him.
though. At the end of the day, I'll take the physical team. And Philadelphia's just physical. They're just.
Now, I do think Philadelphia, if I was Philadelphia, I play zone on Daniels. I do not play man-to-man, and I do not blitz. Make him go 10,
They don't
12
have
drives.
to.
They shouldn't have to.
They don't have to.
That's where the Lions made their mistake.
Guys, I'm going to run out on a limb, and I do that all the time. And I usually break. It breaks, and I usually
Yeah,
land in the water.
Yeah.
But I'm picking the command skins to go all the way.
I hope
Now,
you're
that's
right.
just
Yeah.
that's just.
I just think they're hot.
I
Like
just
Jason
think
said last week, they're hot. I'm
They
not
are
going
hot.
against them this week.
They are
the
hot.
NFL needs this to happen too. I think because there needs to be not a changing of the guard and see Kansas City lose, but I would love to see that.
Well,
I'd like to
here-
see them play
if
Buffalo. and
there's
beat 'em.
there's going to be a changing of the guard if Kansas City loses. It doesn't matter the other 3 teams. The other 3 teams haven't been there much.
No.
They haven't been there much.
I do question Jalen Hurts' health, and I think that's an issue here as well.
That could be an issue.
I don't.
I question his health.
Man,
If he
he's-
can't run,
Sounds
how
like
good
he's
is he?
okay.
Because I still
Sounds
say
like
Mr.
it,
Hurts has
yeah.
a problem reading defenses. I
Yeah.
think he's a 1 read, maybe a 2. He cannot sit and pick a defense apart. It's just not in him.
But he's got that it factor too.
He's got
Just
it.
like you were
But
talking
we
about
continue,
earlier.
even with him hurt in this game against the Rams, at the end of the game, instead of handing it to Barkley, if you remember, and running the clock, they run some bootleg with a hurt quarterback, get him sacked, lost 20
you know
yards.
why? You know why?
Yeah,
He got one of them.
yeah. And let's talk about this too. What's the common denominator with all our 4 quarterbacks left in?
They
in
can all
playoffs?
run. They can all get out.
All
They
of
can
them
get
can
out.
They
move.
all
They
can
can get out of trouble.
improvise.
Right.
They all
They
can
can all get out of
improvise
trouble.
and make a play.
Mhm.
And they always, all these commentators say using their legs. Well, they're using their brain
Mhm.
to do that.
Mhm.
They make the right decisions
Mhm.
to when to escape or when to throw it away. They don't take a lot of sacks, and I think that's a factor. And they don't.
You know,
Now-
one of the difference between Jalen Hurts and some of these other guys you're talking about, Jalen Hurts squats almost
Oh, yeah.
700 pounds. He's built for it. And these other quarterbacks, they don't get in the weight room and do what he does.
No.
I just think he takes unnecessary punishment.
He gives it to.
He's been dinged up
He's-
last
but he's
3
been
This is 3 years in a
sliding.
row at the end of the year. I've got him in fantasy.
That's
Jason say that.
because
And
of
he's
the way
hurt.
he plays.
All right, let's go
Last 3
around.
years.
Let's go around the table and get our solid picks. We've been kind of all over the place here. Kansas City,
Philly.
Buffalo. Let's go back to that. Kansas City.
No, whoa,
You're going Buffalo.
You're going Buffalo.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going Kansas City.
Kansas City, Philadelphia, home teams. I'm going home teams.
All right.
Hope I'm wrong on both of them.
I'm
Hope
going Washington, Buffalo because that's what I hope for. And I think Washington's going all the way. I just got to. I'm on the limb. I don't know.
I
That's
think
the
it's-
one that you would not pick
I
if you
think
were
it's
playing
going to be
odds.
Kansas City. I'm sorry, here I go again.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Buffalo
Philly.
and Philly.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to wait till next week to make that choice.
Okay.
Because I think it's going.
All right.
I think it'll be those 2 teams.
Bill.
I'm going Kansas City. This is their 7th straight AFC championship game. 7 years
no,
in
it's
a row in
unbelievable.
this era is unbelievable.
And
7
I
in a
think
row.
that's the Super Bowl. I think Kansas City Buffalo winner is going to win it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the
that's
Super Bowl is the
Super
AFC
Bowl is that
championship.
I would love to see Buffalo win it all.
Oh, I would have
Oh,
a problem with it.
I would love
Just
to
don't
see
see-
them win it
Until
all.
I see Kansas City lose, I'm not going to believe it. Now,
You
do
know,
I
hey,
think Philadelphia
When's the game
overall
tomorrow?
it's Sunday, but is Philadelphia a
Yeah.
better team than the Command Skins?
It's
What
the
time's
late
the
game.
game
It's
tomorrow?
the 5:30
It's
game.
the late game.
Watch the game tomorrow, and that's when you're going to see Kansas City lose.
I got a real problem with Kansas City, and it has nothing to do with their team. I'm tired of hearing about Taylor Swift. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired. I'm ready for
You
her
know
to
what?
lose.
You know what? She had Caitlin Clark in the booth up there with
I
her
know.
the other day.
I will say one thing. No NFL teams ever win 3 Super Bowls in a row. That would be kind of interesting if they were to do it.
Are you
Don't
pulling for
disagree.
Kansas City? I believe you are, but
I like Andy Reid.
I do too. I
Hey,
like Andy Reid.
Super Bowls, but the Packers won won it all 3 years in a row. But that was one of them was back before there was a Super Bowl.
Okay. We've talked about the games. Let's talk about what's happened in the NFL. We've got just a few minutes left and we've got to go. But let's talk about Dallas. That's the big story of the week.
You know what Dallas's problem is?
Yeah, Jerry Jones.
You hit it. Here's the thing: you can be the owner, but you can't be the owner, the general manager, and the coach.
He's doing it all.
You got to hire people that you feel can do the job and get out of their way and let them do the job. The last thing that David Thomas or Bill Anderson or Jason wants is somebody second guessing everything they do and try to tell them to do. It's hard in high school to do that. Yeah. We talked about that earlier with you asked the question with high school and you talked about the parents. Anytime you get that's if he wants to win another championship, hire the people
and get out of the way.
Out of the way.
Sit in your skybox and watch them.
Exactly.
Don't lay down on the field.
Don't get a microphone in front
of all your franchises, though, whether it's basketball, it's the Lakers, the Celtics, it's the Dodgers, it's the Yankees, it's the Cowboys. That's one of your premier franchises in sports.
It is.
Okay, what we're talking about.
And to get your head coach is Brian Schottenheimer, who was your offensive coordinator who didn't even call plays.
But there's a reason.
No one else interviewed the guy.
Nobody else wants to go there.
That's not true. People would have took the money.
Nobody.
Do you think Dion would have taken it had he been flashed a huge contract?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But I don't think they looked at him that hard.
I think Dion's smart.
Yes, he is.
Dion's smart. And I don't think Dion would put Dion in a position to lose.
He's been there. He knows how it operates.
Dion does not want to be in a position to fail.
Yeah.
Dion is prime.
Well, I have seen so many Dallas Cowboy fans just come unglued after this came out. Now, they hadn't even officially announced it yet. I don't
Kellen Moore made a lot more sense.
I agree.
Yeah. He had been the coordinator, called the play, and that was Dak's best years under Kellen Moore.
And I'm going to tell you
Moore interviewed.
Kellen Moore was a underrated player at Boise State. He knows the game.
I hear this reeks of Jerry's son. This is his hire.
Oh, really?
That they become buddies.
It could be.
That this reeks of Jerry's son here, who did not want Deion Sanders at all. Well, Jerry might have.
Well, the franchise is broke, and they've set
Here's to go by Brian Schottenheimer. Remember this. He got Pete Carroll out in Seattle. He was the offensive coordinator when Seattle started going downhill and wound up getting Pete Carroll, who just got the Raider job.
Well, that's the next thing. That's the next thing we're going to talk about.
Jerry and Deion couldn't work together.
No, they couldn't. No.
Deion knows that.
Both of them like that microphone too.
They could sit and talk and have a big time together and have fun, but they ain't going to be able to work together. But you brought up Pete Carroll to the Raiders. Wasn't that great?
Home run hire.
That's the home run hire.
Sure.
Yes.
And he's 74. Look at that guy. He looks 64.
He runs out on the field with his players.
What does he do?
He wins.
He wins, but what does he do? He lets his coaches coach.
Yeah,
he gets out. He's a Dave Campbell. He's just like the guy at the Lions,
and he knows,
gets an offensive coordinator, defensive. Yeah, he has some little influence in what they do, but he gets out of their way.
And when he gets in front of a microphone, he says the right thing.
Sure,
he don't pitch his players under the bus publicly. Right. He doesn't demean them. Now, don't you've seen him over the years get on some players. Mm-hmm. But he builds them back up, very similar to some of the college coaches.
Here's my thing, and I say this to my bus drivers all the time, and I say it to people all the time. You can't make people work. You can't make people behave. You got to make them want to work, and you got to make them want to behave for you. And that's what Pete Carroll and Dave Campbell do. They make them want to do it for them.
They want to go to war with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll is one of 3 coaches to win an NCAA national title and a Super Bowl. Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer. Paul Brown won an NFL championship, and he won at Ohio State, won a national championship. That's amazing. This guy won it in college. He won it in the pros.
Yeah.
And the staff that Pete Carroll's going to put together.
Sure.
It's going to be awesome.
You know why? They want to work for him.
Sure.
Because they know he's going to allow them to do their job.
Brian Schottenheimer will have the staff that was previously there because Jerry picks his coaches for him. That's the way Dallas works. This leads me to the next hire that I thought was terrible. Liam Cohen by the Jaguars. All right, the guy was with the Rams as an assistant coach for a couple of years. Went to Kentucky for 1 year, back to the Rams for 1 year, back to Kentucky for a year. What kind of staff, as Blaine Bishop said on 104.5 yesterday, you think Liam Cohen's going to be able to put together?
Well, you don't know because he's untested. He's the rookie. He's the Washington quarterback.
Jaden Daniels.
He's the Jaden Daniels that you don't know yet.
Well, that's one thing I'm hoping for with Liam Cohen. You did coach Will Levis. Would you give us a 6th or 7th round pick for the guy, and we can trade you over there and let him back up Trevor Lawrence?
Tag your
Please?
in. Tag your in.
Well,
right?
wait a minute. Since you brought up Trevor Lawrence, there's rumors floating around that Trevor Lawrence might be in a trade deal with the Titans.
The only rumor I saw was that Orlovsky brought that up on ESPN,
Yeah.
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But you're never going to see in division a trade like that. It don't happen.
I think the Titans are going to. We ain't talked about them. I think they're going to hire. They're going to sign a quarterback, and I don't think they're going to use their first pick for a quarterback.
I agree.
I don't think so.
I
either.
don't think
The coach has got too much on the line. He don't have enough time to wait. He's got to win now.
Well, it's not the coach; it's the GM. And
Callahan,
The
he's
coach is a
limited.
dead man walking.
He's
Here-
limited.
here-
He's a dead man walking.
Here's the thing
he's
about
he's
the
done
coach.
next
Coach.
year.
The coach is giving these players, and he's got to do with them what they think he's got to do with them. He does. I hope the new guy gets with the coach, and the coach says, this and this and this. But if they don't work together, if the GM goes and gets his players, and it don't fit what the coach does, yeah, the coach is dead. And until they do that, until they get to where they fit with each other, why was Belichick so good in New England? Because he could go out and get the ones he wanted to fit what he did.
Right.
But if Jason is giving me cards and I can't make them work,
Yeah.
I'm dead.
That's where the dysfunction is in the NFL.
Sure.
People like Jerry Jones are telling you what you're going to do instead of saying, what do you want to do? Let's do it.
Right.
And
That's
I'm
got
going
a
to tell
question.
you, and I'm going to tell you right now, the coach for Tennessee, if they just he's more than one player away.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
He-
he's got a
And
If
if
Mike
you go-
Vrabel had not been fired, he had the same team that this guy had.
Right.
Would they be 3-14?
no.
No.
They would have been
It
in
wouldn't have been great.
contention.
But we would have
Yeah.
won 6, 7, 8 games.
Oh, well, you might be at your 500 flirting around with
And after the second game, Mr. Levis would have never seen the field again either,
Yeah,
folks. That was
probably
Mike
not.
Vrabel. He would have been done after those
All
pick
right.
sixes and fumble sixes.
All right, I got a question for y'all, and we got to close out. What about our Detroit Lions head coach, Campbell, having a meltdown in the press conference after the game? And how that, his tough guy, he came apart pretty much.
You know
He
what?
lost he lost his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator. He knew it was probably going to happen. Where does Detroit stand now after losing those? And
They're
then
going to be fine.
you think they're going to be all right?
Yeah, he'll find somebody, but you know what? It hurt him
Oh, yeah.
because he worked so hard, and those players, it hurt the players too. And then when the players see their dad
Yeah.
hurt like that, their dad just knows that, hey, I just lost some of my kids. It hurt him.
Did y'all watch
hurt
Ben
him.
Johnson's press conference when he got the Bears job? I would have to cart him for a beer. He looks like
I
he's
know.
20 years old
Yeah.
and sounds that way. I just don't
Yeah.
know that he came across, and maybe he will be, as a leader of men to me.
I'm going to sound bad because I like Campbell. I think
Yes.
Campbell's a super nice guy.
Mhm.
I think he had the benefit of having two awesome coordinators.
He does. Yeah.
I don't know that he's going to look too good next year.
I know this. His players,
His players really like him, but
they are going to play.
I think
But
you're going
does
to see
he-
a big drop off.
He's-
There's going to be a fall.
The question
There's
is,
going to be a fall.
is he one of those coach a motivator for the players and getting the chemistry? Does he lack the X and O's?
I think he likes excellent.
I think that's where he's going to struggle.
I don't think he lacks the X and O's. He knows the game,
Right.
and he knows what he wants. He will go out and hire. And he may not get the Bill Anderson. He may not get the big head hire that everybody.
Right,
He's
right.
going to get what fits his philosophy and what's going to be able to make a change. But yeah, I think he'll still. Now, will he be where he was? No, he's going to make a drop.
Yeah.
Minnesota's going to make a drop.
Actually, I think he can upgrade on the defensive coordinator. I'm not an Aaron Glenn fan. I think the Jets made a grave mistake hiring him as their head coach.
Guys, it's obvious that we
Great
can sit here and
mistake.
talk all day about this, but it's time for us to wind down. I
Right.
want us to sit down and maybe have a roundtable discussion just on the NFL on a special edition one night, maybe, and just sit and talk about it because we got a lot of stuff going on. Of course, we ain't even scratched the surface on the Titans.
No.
Are you ready for that, Bill?
No.
I'm not
Hey,
either.
Let's
say
wait till
this-
the draft and we can talk.
All
We got the number
right,
one pick.
My
A draft
son
show.
told me
Fun.
the other day that he got promoted. He's now going to be work. Did I tell you last week?
Mhm.
He 12 weeks. He's going to be 12 months now.
What we need to do is probably get Coach Davis on here with us too, and get a larger group because I'd love to hear his take on this stuff too. I know
That'd
he's
be
got
fun
an
right around the
opinion.
draft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna have
draft
a,
show.
we're gonna do
get
that.
We need to get.
But guys, we got
We
to.
need to get somebody out there that knows how to make one of them semicircle tables.
Oh,
so
I've
we
already
can-
got that laid out.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, we're gonna have to get out of here. But again, we want to thank our sponsors, First Bank.
Kincaid.
Service.
Company.
All righty, Kincaid.
Service.
Company.
I can't
Hey,
stop
come
it.
on now. You
Hey,
can't stop
trade.
it.
Service
That's
is their middle name.
Exactly.
And it's time for us to go. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for sitting down with
Yeah,
us
thank
again,
y'all for having
Jason.
me.
We
Yeah,
love
appreciate
having you here. And we'll be back next week to talk some Bedford County sports, some college basketball, and probably some more NFL football and talk about
Super
these
Bowl
results.
preview.
All righty.